Hey, babe. What up? Hello, everybody. Hello, hello. Good day. Happy Monday to you. Happy Monday to you. How y'all doing out there? What's going on? Thank you so much. I just had a date with my husband, and we just got home, and I thought I have got to jump on and talk to my Periscope family. I go from getting on here every day to just once every other day or every few days. I'm happy to see your face too, Melody. Hello, everybody. I've missed you also. Kim, you've been inspiring. That is so awesome. I'm thankful to hear that. I sure am. Thanks for tuning in my scope. You welcome. That's okay. You're awesome. My life is just so busy. I'm not even kidding. Like, I am so busy. Hey, Joss. Hi, Pastor. Hello. Love you guys. When I move to Atlanta, I want to be... Yes, come see me. Definitely. Hey, Jules. I love you. So I just got off the phone to get on this scope. That's awesome. That blesses me. My glasses, these are Celine's. Yeah. I think. I don't even know. Hello, guys. Hi, Rockaway Queens. So today we're going to talk. I've gotten some new notes that I've been talking and going over. Can y'all believe I failed today? Look at my hand. I completely failed. Is that gross? That's so gross. So my foot got caught in my husband's Range Rover. Yes, I fell. I am the biggest klutz ever. So the other night, I'm getting up out of my bed. My foot was asleep. I twist my ankle. Yes. And then a while ago, my foot got caught in my backpack. And I just felt, just totally rolled right out of his Range Rover. I'm not even kidding. Like, I didn't just fall, I rolled. It was graceful, but I rolled. Yeah. I hate when that happened. Me too. I'm like the biggest klutz. There is totally not a grace bone in my body. What did somebody say about Cora? I missed that. Hello, Casey. Hi. Hello. Yep, if your foot offends you, do not cut it off. I'm not going to cut my foot off. No, but I do need to slow down. Chasney, hey, girl. I swear we must be related. I'm telling y'all something. My husband comes running around the side of the truck, and there I am. But thankfully, it's just this. Really, in reality, I'm going to be honest with y'all. I was thinking either I'm about to throw my phone across the cement and it breaks, or I'm going down. Well, you know I'm going to go down because I'm not going to break my phone. Why did you comment on Cora's scope, that, Leandra? I missed it. Sorry. Yes. When you preaching in Dallas, Texas. I'm not sure, but you can go to my website, Real Talk Kim. Real Talk Kim. RealTalkKim.com is my website, and you can find out my travel schedule. Yep. So today we're going to talk about how to let go of past relationships. So easy. It is so easy in life to remember all the good that person did. Why did you say that Leandra's scope was sad? I thought it was sad. I feel real bad. Leandra's going on a 30-day fast. Look at God. Isn't that awesome? I love her. I'm praying for her. It is sad. You know, it's real sad when somebody's got a great call of God on their lives and they're struggling. And it's even sadder whenever they're having to struggle in front of a bunch of Christians that don't always, you know, I'm not condoning it, but I'm just saying it's hard. So listen, let's go over it. How to let go of a past relationship. 10 steps to move on peacefully. Are y'all ready? Are y'all ready for this? Number one, your face is everything. I know, girl. I know at Lumi Light is thebomb.com. Yes. So number one is practice releasing regrets. One of the ways you got to intentionally move on past a bad relationship. Like you have got to make up your mind. Yep, same earrings. I've been working on it. You have to intentionally decide, I am getting up and I'm walking away. All right. So number one, you have to practice releasing regrets. Practice releasing regrets. When a relationship ends, it's tempting to dwell on what you did wrong or what you could have done differently. This might seem productive, like you can somehow change things by rehearsing it. You can't. All dwelling does is cause you to suffer. Hello? Cause you to suffer when you start revisiting the past in your head. How many of you understand this? You pull yourself into the moment. Focus on the good things in your current situation, the friends who are there for you, and the lessons you've learned that will help you in future relationships. It might help to tell your friends to only let you vent for 10 minutes. You listen, we got to get to a place where we allow our friends, the ones that God has in our life, we allow them to hold us accountable. If we are not careful, we will talk about a past relationship so much that this relationship is gone, but yet we're still living in the relationship that is no longer here because we talk about it 24/7. I know it ain't easy. I know it's really hard to let go of somebody that you love, but you have to. You have to practice releasing regrets. That was number one. Number two, work on forgiving yourself. Work on forgiving yourself, y'all. Work on it. You might think you made the biggest mistake of your life, and if only you didn't do it, you wouldn't be in pain right now. Hello? Now go down that road. There's nothing good down that road. Instead, keep reminding yourself that you are human. You are entitled to make mistakes. Everyone does. And you will learn from them and use those lessons to improve your life. It's the hardest. What, Marcia? It's the hardest thing ever. Learning to forgive yourself. Stop living in the should-have, could-haves, and would-haves, and realize that if it was should-have and it could-have and it was supposed to, it would have. And so we have to get to that place where we allow ourselves to say, you know what, God, you have a way of sometimes just closing doors in our path. Because if you would not have closed them, then we would not move forward. And instead of banging on those doors, we have to trust that whatever's behind those doors are not for you. Intentional. You have to be intentional every day of your life to say, God, I'm better than this. I know that maybe you knew something that I didn't know. See, so often, yes, forgiveness frees us. So often, though, we beat ourselves up because maybe we spend 10 years with somebody. The whole 10 years was hell, but we kept hanging on to the relationship, trying to get the relationship to work, trying to get the relationship to last. And then when it ends, we beat ourselves up because of all the time that we wasted, right? We feel like, oh my gosh, we wasted so many years instead of realizing, no, you did not waste those years. They made you who you are. You are who you are today because you walked through that relationship. Man, I remember being so mad at God. Like after my marriage ended and I realized, OMG, I wasted 17 years. That's the way I was looking at it. I wasted 17 years. I knew this marriage. I mean, I shouldn't even have had my children because at the very get-go of after saying I do, this marriage was toxic, bad. But I continue to do everything. All these lessons that I teach y'all, the only reason I can teach all these lessons is because I went through it and I know what to tell you. I know to tell you. I feel it. I felt it. I've been there. I felt like I've wasted those years as well. However, when you get to that place where you realize that God, you know better than I know, it hurts like hell right now, but I would rather have gone through what I went through to get the life lessons that I got. So Lord, today I'm forgiving myself. I'm forgiving him. I'm forgiving her. I'm forgiving his family, her family. Lord, I want you to help me walk in forgiveness. And God's going to do that. Your pain for a purpose. Yes, your pain is for a purpose. You know, I often look back and when I remember that finally whenever I was like, all right, God, I'm not going to be mad at you today because, you know, I did create these storms. And so I just need you to help me get through them. Like I'm going to pull my big girl panties up and I'm going to get through them. And instead of allowing myself to regurgitate all the good, I started saying, God, I'm just going to realize that, you know, if it was supposed to have worked out, it would have. And so from this point on, I'm going to keep looking forward. Anytime I start getting a little weak, I had accountability people around me, and I would call them and I'd be like, I'm getting weak. Right now I'm getting weak. And they'd be like, no, girl, come on. We're going to get through this. We're going to get through this. And before long, whenever you do something enough, then it becomes a habit. And you don't no longer want to reach for that phone to call him or her. You don't no longer want to go to his Facebook or her Facebook and stalk it anymore. You begin to get up and you begin to live again. I remember laying in that bed, and I tell you guys this a lot, but I remember laying in my bed and I was like, I knew that I needed to forgive, and I knew that I was at a place of wanting forgiveness, because I'd made my mind up. This is it. Like, I'd taken myself through soul ties, breaking, all that kind of stuff. And I was at that place where I was like, okay, God, so, I want you to take this pain away from me. And God said, I can't take it away. You got to get up and walk away from it. And you got to make it intentionally every day of your life to say, today is the best day of the rest of my life. Today, God is orchestrating my steps. And today I will knock on those doors. I will no longer knock on those doors that are closed. And God, I'm going to trust that whatever's behind it is not for you. Lord, I'm going to control, alt, delete. I'm going to block these people in my phone that are no good for me, i.e. him. And I began to make him go through my parents. I began to like take care of myself. And that is exactly what you need to do today. You need to begin to bring your loved ones into the picture. If you find out every time he comes around, you're weak and you feel like you're falling apart, or every time you go around her, you're weak and you want to go back to them and it's not good and it's over and they're already with somebody else, then you need to allow family members to come in and begin to help you. Maybe take the kids. You don't have to go meet him for the kids. Let a family member take them. Do whatever you got to do to get your heart healed. That's what you got to do. You got to help God help you. Number 3 is don't think about any time as lost. Don't think about any of the time that you spent with that person as lost. If I looked at that unhealthy relationships or the following decade as time lost, y'all, I was 17 years. 17 years. I would underestimate all the amazing things I did in that time. True. I was in a marriage, where it was toxic. However, all of the great things that I became in the process of that, I found out how strong I was. I had 2 amazing sons that I would not have today if I would not have been in this relationship. So instead of me looking at this as time lost, I began to look at it as, God, this is just free life college. And I quit praying for God to change my circumstances, and I began to pray, God, let me change so that I can handle it. I know one thing, God, is that if I'm in this situation right now, I've had to move back in with my mother and father. I'm having to let my heart heal. One thing that I do know, God, is you knew that I was going to be here, and there is a lesson in this season. And I don't want you to change your circumstance. I want you to change me for the circumstance. Hi, Lisa. Love you. And it's every day of my life. It is allowing myself. So did I name him Manipulator 2. So did I named him Manipulator 2. And it's getting to that place where I knew that God was healing me. I would lay in my bed. Hey, Audie. I would lay in my bed every night and I would lay hands on myself and I would say, God, I want to forgive, but I don't know how. God, I want to move forward, but I don't know how. God, I want to let this person go. I want to quit reliving all the bad things that happened in my life and feeling guilty and shameful. Lord, I want to let it go. And I believe that all of us want to forgive, but a lot of times we don't know how. That's why you got to pray. If you're not praying anything, you're not creating anything. You got to pray specifics. What do you want God to do in your life? We're even so afraid to tell God to do anything in our life because we're afraid that if we really ask God to do what he needs to do in our life, or Lord, just go on and just take whatever needs to be taken out of my life so that I can move forward. We're even afraid to pray that prayer because we are somewhere down deep on the inside of us afraid that if we pray that prayer, then God's going to take that toxic relationship out of our life. And we are so codependent on that toxic relationship that we believe that if God takes that relationship away, we're going to be so alone. We would rather be in the wrong relationship than be alone. And that is so, so sad because you only get one chance at life. You only get one time to breathe. You only get one time to walk in your calling. You only get one time to live life to the fullest. And yet we will waste it on people that do not care about us, people that are not fighting for us, people that are not respecting and honoring us. And we will lay there and live in it just because. We will live in it just because we're afraid that if we let go, we're going to be all by ourselves. And honey, I'm telling you something. When I finally had the courage to let go of the wrong, that was when God was bringing the right into my life, and I didn't even know it. He was preparing me. I am so thankful. I praise God every day that he did not answer my prayers. I thank him every single day that he did not answer those prayers, and all the times that I even fasted, standing for my marriage, because today, y'all, if God would have restored that, I would not be where I am today, because God knew exactly what I needed. I was in a relationship with somebody that I would go and I would be going to sing at a place, because I did praise and worship before I preached, and before I ever started preaching. I didn't start preaching until I went through my divorce, and that's when God gave me my purpose. And I would be going to sing, and on the way there, this dude would be just putting me down, telling me, oh, you're going to screw this up. Nobody's going to blah, 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 blah. I mean, just all the time, just breaking me down, because hurt people hurt people. And I finally got to a place where I just quit even going and singing places. I quit going and preaching. I quit going and going to church even. I quit all of that because I decided in my head that I was fighting for this marriage. And if this meant I couldn't be in ministry anymore because the dude didn't want to be, then I wasn't going to be. If it meant that I couldn't do praise and worship anymore and go sing at these places anymore because he didn't like it and he made me feel like I was a piece of crap every time I went to do it. I mean, y'all, I remember one time being on television singing, and I was doing a live telethon, and I messed up the words. But I'm the type of person that if I mess up the words, I'll make up other words, and you won't never know I messed up the words. And so that's what I did. And I'll never forget, in between, on the commercial break, he called and he was like, you effed that up, didn't you? And I remember that moment saying, you know what, God, I am not going to do any of this anymore. I'm going to lay it down. And that's what a lot of you are doing right now. You are laying down your gift. You are laying down your anointing. You are laying down what God has called you to do, because you would rather be in a toxic relationship than allow God to reveal the hidden places on the inside of you and give you what you need. And so I'm so thankful, because I'm going to tell you something. When you're with the wrong one, the wrong voices will mess. Oh, yes, it will. And y'all, you got to understand that the devil is not after you for your now. He's not after you for your past. He's after you for your future. He is after you for your future. He knew that if I did not get to this place in 2006 where I finally said, God, I'm turning everything over to you. He knew that if I ever got there, then I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing. I would be doing what I'm doing today. So he fought me. He fought me through men. He fought me through wanting a validation. Yes, he's after your anointing. And so there's many of you right now that are just dating people that are toxic for you. Toxic. But because you are so desperate to carry a man's last name, you will put up with stuff that you should not have to put up with. You know, I can tell you something. I have been married to the wrong one, and I'm married to the right one. And when I tell you the difference, I'm marrying the one that God has for you, and what they do, what they bring out in you, they bring out the best in you, man. They celebrate you. They love you. They push you to breakthroughs and not breakdowns. I am so thankful that I am where I am today. And I allowed the purging, and I allowed the breaking. I allowed God to do what he did on the inside of me. And you guys, there are some of you on here right now, and you're in that place where you cry more than you smile. And this person, you're not even married to them yet, but yet you are completely walking down the aisle to till death do you part with this person that right now isn't even treating you right. Right now, they leave you. They make you cry. They're not even carrying the responsibility they should, and you are taking it, and you are going to end up saying, I do to them, even though they are not even doing what they're supposed to be doing for you right now. But because your self-esteem is so low, because you believe everything that they say about you instead of what God knows about you, the devil has used his little imps and he's placed them around you, and all you hear is the negative things about yourself, and you have really convinced yourself that you deserve everything that you're walking in. And I'm here to tell you something right now. I'm here to tell you, don't you dare. God spoke to me this morning. The cycle is broken. Yes, Pastor, the cycle is broken. The cycle is broken for all of you out there. I mean, you have got to get to that place where you're willing to say, God, I don't know what you're doing. I don't know how you're doing it, but I know that you said in your word that you are working things together for my good. I don't see no good in this. I don't see what you're doing. And some of you need to stop praying for God to bless a relationship that he didn't even tell you you could be in. man. God don't have to bless a relationship that you didn't ask him for. I'll never forget laying in that fetal position in my bed, losing my life, man. I felt like my life was over because this toxic marriage was over. And I was laying there and I said, God, I'm so mad at you. I'm so mad at you. Why couldn't you have healed my marriage? Why couldn't you have made it okay? I've got 2 sons that I wanted to have a daddy and a mom in their house. And why couldn't you have healed it? And I heard God tell me, I never one time told you this one was the one. You never consulted me. You never asked me. I'm telling you, you never one time laid before me and said, God, is this the one for me? In fact, I sent your parents to tell you, don't you do it. I sent pastors to tell you, don't you do it. Don't you do it. You're jumping out of the fire into the frying pan. Don't you do it. And you did not listen. And let me just tell y'all something. God is a good, good father, but he is not a father that can, our father can see way down the road, and you are praying for God to show you these red flags and you are ignoring them. You are wanting what you want instead of what God knows that you need. And so today, I'm telling y'all, some of y'all need to go in fasting and prayer. Some of you need to lay hands on yourself and stop praying for God to give you your will and begin to pray that God's will be done in your life. God's will be done in my life. I'm going to tell you something right now. If you are in a relationship where they are putting you down, calling you out of your name, some of you ladies, y'all need to hush your mouth. Like you're using you are using this, oh, men can't hit women to an extreme, and you're in these men's faces and you're disrespecting them and you're talking ugly to them, and you're making the great blessing that God has in your life right now. You are making this man pay for something that somebody else did, and you're breaking these people down. And ladies, you got to step back, man. God cannot bless you as long as you are breaking down a man of God that God has put in your life. You have got to get to a place where you realize, God, I trust you. You have got to get to that place where you can say, Father, I'm telling y'all something. I'll never forget, even after I married my husband, Mark Pothier, and I married my husband, and even after I married my husband, I was single for almost 7 years. You don't really know if you are healed from a past relationship until you get into another relationship with somebody. And I thought I was healed. I thought I was, but there were still some things because I was cheated on and all these other things in my previous relationship. And I just had a hard time trusting. And, I never was really fought for. I never really was taken care of. I never, I never chose a man that had a whole bunch of drive, and it wasn't very initiative oriented. He didn't get up and go. I mean, I was always like a boom, 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 boom. I was always like I could just start businesses and they would prosper. And my husband's never did. And so, because y'all know I've been married twice. I got married twice before I was ever 20 years old, because I was a very stubborn human being. It took me literally walking through my second divorce to fall on my face and find God and be healed. And that was in 2006. So I always found these people that were broken, and that I had a need on the inside of me to be needed. And so I would always pick these men that were projects, these men that needed me, these men that needed me to be there, to needed my strength, that needed my, you think that was rebellion? Oh, absolutely, Mandy. It was a rebellion against my parents, rebellion against religion, rebellion against church people. Oh, yes. Unforgiveness, yes. But I always took on these men that were broken and needed me because I never felt needed. And I would always find these men that were projects. And so after I started getting healed, in 2006, and I was allowing God to begin to heal me, my prayer was, God, I want to be so well that I know what my position is in my home. I want to know how to submit. I want to know how to be a woman of God for my husband. I want to know how to be his escape and not his duty. I want to be the wind in his sail. I don't want to be that woman that's always breaking him down because I'm afraid that if he thinks I need him, he'll leave me like the other ones. I want to be healed. And I'll never forget, even after I married my husband, I would get in my car, man, and I would drive, and I would just lay hands on myself, and I'd be like, God, let me love this man like he loves me, because I was so afraid that if I ever allowed this man to know that I needed him, then he would use it and he would abuse me. He'd be like, he would disrespect me and just everything that all the other guys had done in my life. And I would lay hands on myself and be like, God, let me Lord, let me love this man the way he loves me, because my husband loved me. Mark loves me so much. My God, this man tells me all day long. I used to would do anything for my ex to tell me, oh man, babe, I love you. Do you know how much I love you? And I never heard it. I used to would do anything for that man to choose to talk to me for hours on the phone instead of my girlfriends. I used to I would kill, man, for my husband to back then to tell me, I'm so proud of you. I would kill for that. And I never got it. And I never got it. And I never got it. And I even remember being angry because the roses I would even get from him, I paid for. And, it's just like there's all this resentment, just bitter resentment. And he told me that the reason he did the things he did was because I pushed him to do it, and I believed him. And so after I met my husband 7 years after my divorce, I remember I did not want to mess this up, y'all. And I had messed up so many relationships, and so I just was just the demise. I was just a loudmouth, chunky butt, man. I was just, you ain't gonna tell me what to do. You ain't gonna do this. You ain't gonna do that. And I remember how do you let go of all them old emotions? You got to be intentional, Lazo. You got to pray over yourself. You got to fast. I'm telling you, you got to make it intentional. You have got to make it intentional. And so I remember my husband, the first time that Mark came in and he told me, he was like, I really feel like that you need to do this. I don't feel good about what you're about to do. And I was like, boy, bye. That's how I felt. I felt that indignation coming up and that, ooh, you ain't gonna tell me what to do. I'm a grown woman. No, my daddy didn't even tell me what to do. Well, figures. I mean, look at my life. And hey, Lena. And so I remember that moment. It was almost like God spoke to me and said, what are you going to do? Because at the end of the day, this man is your covering. And so if you do what he says to do and it's wrong, he going to be standing there with you in this. So it's better for you to at least have somebody that loves your guts, loves you so much to tell you the truth, than go your own way and then get yourself out there caught again and you're not covered because you would not allow yourself to be covered. You should you sound like my stat professor. Deep wounds need lots of oil. Oh, yes, it does. And it's intentional. It is intentional. And so I remember that day, there's been a few times where my husband has flat out told me, I don't feel that's good. I even remember one time I put a status up on Facebook and he came and told me, and I had like 5,000, 6,000 likes on him. It was blessing people. What? And he comes in and he goes, I think you need to take that status down like right now. And I was like, oh, I felt like being like, boy, bye. This is blessing people. And he said, I really feel like you need to go take it down. And he was serious. And I was like, oh, man, I couldn't get over there and remove that status fast enough because I realized the way I was saying it. And then when I looked at all the likes, it was a bunch of loudmouth women that liked it. And so the way it came across, though my heart wasn't meaning it that way, it came across like I was not a submitted wife and that I was going to do whatever I wanted to do. And I'm so thankful that I heard from God for me, So when my husband told, basically it sounded like I was a wife that didn't know how to listen. And so, man, at that moment, I realized, you know what? God knows. God knew what I needed in this season. And it's almost like, y'all, whenever I married my husband 4 years ago, I promise you, it was like, hey, Angie, it was totally like, y'all, that God opened the windows of heaven over my life. It was almost like God said, okay, now you have covering. Now you got a man that's going to protect you. You got a man that's going to pray for you. You got a man that is going to love you. And now I can open the windows of heaven over your life. And I'm not even kidding y'all. Y'all, what could have happened in 17 years of my previous marriage? I couldn't have went and rode on one of the biggest prophets' coattails to get what God has given me in my life. I couldn't have paid for what God has done in my life. But because I got a man that I allowed God to bring into my life, and I might add, he did not look like he was not packaged the way that I thought my blessing was going to be packaged. Now, I sat across a table from him today at dinner and just stared at him thinking, man, God, I am the most blessed woman on the planet. I have the sexiest husband on the planet. Like when God is in it, it's not going to look like what you think it's going to look like. It's not going to be what you want God to bring. It's going to be what God knows you need. And then what's going to happen is he's going to make you have such a desire in your heart for that person. And our marriage is not like my last marriage. It was like 9.5 weeks sex. All right. That's all we had was sex. We didn't make love. There is a difference, sisters. There is a difference in making love and screwing. There is a difference. And so all I knew was with my ex was we didn't have anything in common. We didn't have nothing but sex. That was it. And it was demented and it was perverted and it was gross. And I would never want to go back. But that was for 17 years, the only marriage, the type of marriage sex I knew. And whenever I met my husband, he's 15 years older, 15 years older than me. The one thing that I can tell you is that sex, that screwing, that just sex relationship, that is completely, 100% completely different than when it's God's way. When God brought my husband into my life, for the first time in 17 years, oh my God, did I ever find out what it was like for someone to make love to you? Not make love to just your body, but make love to your mind, make love to your spirit. It is spiritual. And it is a spiritual connection. And I realize why you can't just be going and having sex with all kinds of people. Because it leads to lust. And lust feels a lot like love until you have to sacrifice. And so, man, when I met my husband, that's what he did for me. He loves my soul. And so that's where you ladies need to stop and take a moment. Just take a break. And realize, stop looking at what you lost and start looking at what you're about to gain. When you allow God to heal you and you allow God to hold you and you allow God to work on the inside of you. What? Man, I can't even explain it. Y'all, nobody ever breaks this down, the equally yoked. Equally yoked is not you just finding a man in church that is quoting scriptures and shouting and want to do it, the devil could quote scriptures. It is finding somebody that loves Jesus so much that first things in the morning, they get up and spend time with God and pray for your soul. People that literally, my husband, every single day of my life for 4 years, y'all, I have watched my husband get up every morning. He sits in the same spot for at least an hour or two, and I know that man is in there praying for me. And I know that I don't have to open my mouth and nag him when he's doing stuff I don't want to do, when he's doing stuff I don't think he should. I don't nag him no more because, ladies, it don't work. You running your mouth. The Bible says a nagging woman is like a leaky faucet. Blah, blah, blah. Men don't hear it. Some of y'all running your good things off right now because you're like a leaky faucet. Honey, if I tell my husband, don't you do this, he will do the exact opposite because I am not his mother. And men begin to shut down. But when I know my husband is in that room, in his room, and he is praying every single day, guess what? I go to my war room, which I'm in all the time, and I literally will say, God, I'm having a problem with this. Your boy is stubborn. I feel like that he is not doing what I think's right. And if I'm not right, then that's fine. But God, I just want you to make sure that we're on the right track together. I know that because my husband serves God and loves God more than he loves me. I know that in that prayer time in the morning, that's what you call equally yoked. He's talking to the Father. He's talking to our daddy God. And our daddy God's going to cause him to line up and do the right thing. That's what equally yoked's all about. And so some of y'all, man, if your bae ain't praying and you're in relationships with this person, are you on point 4? Point 4, we are right now. Back on it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I love you, Kim. Your passion and words are full. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you. So number 3 was don't think about any time as lost. Look at it as life college. Look at it as this is what I needed to go through in order for my journey to be, a bestseller. And when you focus on the positive, it's easier to move on because you'll feel empowered and not victimized by your boyfriend, by your ex, by yourself, or by time. Whatever happened in the past, it prepared you for now. And now is full of opportunities for growth and peace and happiness. Number 4 is remember the bad as well as the good. Britain scientists suggest, and I wrote down all kinds of statistics the other day because I was doing a relationship healing seminar, and so this is what this is from. And so brain scientists suggest nearly 20% of us suffer from complicated grief, a persistent sense of longing for someone we lost with romanticized memories of the relationship. Scientists also suggest that it is a biological occurrence, that the longing can have an addictive quality to it, actually rooted in our brain chemistry. As a result, we tend to remember everything with reverie, as if it was all sunshine and roses. If your ex broke up with you, it may be even more tempting to imagine she or he was perfect and you weren't. In all reality, you don't have strengths and weaknesses, and you both made the mistakes. You both did. It takes 2 to tango. You hear me? Like, it takes 2 to tango. Number 5 is reconnect with who you are outside of a relationship. Like, if you don't love yourself, how can anybody else love you? If you're not okay spending time by yourself, some of y'all like, I need a man in my life 24/7. I need somebody in my life 24/7. I need a good thing to complete me. Honey, you better be completed before you ever get a relationship. You're going to get a half, and you're going to be a half, and then what's going to happen when they walk out, you're going to be a half again. That's the problem with so many of us. We keep repeating cycles over and over instead of putting a do not disturb up on our heart and allowing God to heal us. Number 5, reconnect with who you are outside of a relationship. Unless you hop from relationship to relationship, odds are you lived a fulfilling single life before you got into one. You were strong, satisfied, and happy, at least on the whole, right? Remember that person now. Like, go back and remember that person right now. Reconnect with any people or interests that may have received less attention while you were attached. Get rid of this stupid fool. There you go, bye boo. The strong, happy, passionate person you were attracted, the strong, happy, passionate person you were attracted your ex. That person will get you through this loss and attract someone equally or amazing in the future, or even better. Because, listen, nobody that walked out of your life, my block game is so strong, it ain't even funny. It sure ain't. Because you know why? I've got so many people wanting to get in here and chat, and they can't. Because they only allow like 200 people in here to chat. So why am I going to let some fool, like, that ain't got nothing better to do with their life, get up here in space? So my block game is strong. I've got the gift of goodbye. Sure, you can ask me a quick question. Ask questions. Who sent them? Where they come from? What they want? Stop the cycles. Yes. You got to vote for better. Yes. Thank you for your email newsletter. You are welcome. I can't remember who I was. You know what? And neither did I, y'all. That's where whenever I got out of my relationship, it was very abusive. And when I got out of it, I did not know who I was because I had changed so much trying to get him to love me that I lost me. And so when you get out of a toxic relationship, this is why y'all cannot be jumping from relationship to relationship because you ain't ready. Like, once you get out of a relationship or you've been in love with somebody, you should not even be thinking of dating again for at least 6 months because you will attract what you are and not what you want. I'm not even kidding. Like, you will go right back. Do you ever wonder why you keep getting the same type of men? May you repeat the points of the end of the scope. Sure, I will. Number 6 is create separation. Create separation. You know what? I need help finding myself. Here's what you got to do. You got to be intentional about finding yourself. You really do. Like, you have to remember, you got to learn, you got to spend quality time every day. Turn the TV off, turn off social media, and begin to write in a journal. Get to know yourself again. I remember praying for me after I got out of my divorce. I was so broken and such a mess. I couldn't even tell you anything. I could not even tell you my favorite color or my favorite food. I completely lost myself. And I remember laying there crying one night because I was trying to do one of these stupid MySpace quizzes where you tell people stuff about yourself, like dumb stuff about yourself, like I love peanut butter and banana sandwiches and stuff like that. And I couldn't even tell you what my favorite food was. I couldn't even tell you anything. What about when you were the abuser and adulterer? Renee, God is a God of restoration. Like, you know what? There's a bunch of people probably in this room right now that has committed adultery or been an abuser, you know, and God is a healer. Like, you've got to forgive yourself. yourself. You got to realize, man, and when I look back, I always say, I probably drove my ex to drink because of my big old fat mouth. I mean, he's still drinking to this day, and I've been gone for, almost 11 years, but still, I probably started it because I was tore up from the floor up. I had to forgive myself for those feelings. Thank you so much, Zen. I had to forgive myself. Like, I had to go back and say, God, I forgive myself for being loud. I forgive myself for pushing him away. I forgive myself for not knowing when to shut up. I drove mines off the rooftop. I'm not even kidding y'all. But here's the deal. The devil will make us literally lie. He will lie to us. Hey, James, love you. He will lie to us and tell us that we will always run men off because we did it once. We're going to do it again. He'll have us believing that we drove that person in the arms of another woman. And if we get in another relationship, we're going to drive that one off into the arms of another woman too. That is a lie from the pit of hell. Whenever God began to heal me in those 6 years, I became so awesome, so gentle, so kind, so loving, I'm my husband's escape and not his duty now. I am completely a different human being than I was then because I recognized that I didn't blame my ex for the reason I was the way I was. I didn't blame my dad and mom for the reason I was. I looked in that mirror. I didn't blame religion. I looked in that mirror, Debbie, and I said, Kimberly, it takes two to tango. It ain't nobody's fault, honey. You might not could have stopped what they did to you, but you could have handled yourself differently. And a lot of times when you get to that place where you just face it, you look at that man in the mirror and say, it's not right, but it's going to be okay. One of these days, I'm just going to get myself in a position of healing. Right now, I'm going to find who I am supposed to be. Yes, and get accountability. Get people in your life that you are not afraid to be honest with and say, you know what? I don't like me. I don't like me today, and I need God to heal me. I need it. Like, I don't want to be this person anymore. Stop fighting to be outspoken. Stop fighting to be loud. Stop fighting to be heard, and get in a quiet place and allow God to do a work. You know what God did to me when I was walking through my divorce, y'all? No lie. It was like he took everybody out of my life. I was like all by myself. I was like, God, you are such a mean, mean father. That's who you are. That's what I was feeling. I was a victim in my own story. I was allowing a season of my life to define my whole lifetime. And, when I finally got to that place, I was like, this ain't helping me. Right, James? This ain't helping me. Like, what am I mad at? Like, this is me and God. Like, my ex is gone. I moved back in with my mother and my father. Now what? And you start looking in that mirror and you start pruning. Yes, you began to let God reveal the hidden places. You stop praying for God to reveal just a little bit. Just a little bit, Lord. Just a little bit. No, you ask God to reveal every stinking weak place in the inside of you, all the brokenness, all the sass, all the loudmouth chunky butt, all of that, and let God begin to heal me. Lay hands on yourself. Like, y'all need to get busy. Some of y'all need to stop going to the bars and twerking. You need to stop nay-naying, and you need to get in your closet at your house and learn how to pray, honey. Pray over yourself and watch God. I'm going to tell y'all something. I was looking at how far I had to go instead of how far I had come. And when I finally got to a place where I was serious, and I said, God, I know you've got better for me. I know you've got better for me. I know you've called me to ministry. I know you're going to use me. And so, Lord, I'm going to begin to pray for what I'm going to begin to prepare for what I'm praying for. And I did. And y'all, I couldn't go to Bible school because I had kids. I had to work. I couldn't go, I couldn't go to, I had to work a 9 to 5, and not even 9 to 5. I worked retail. And so I worked all hours, and I began to use every single downtime I had. I had preaching CDs on. I was ordering CDs. I was investing in my spirit. I was learning how to preach. I was learning how to prophesy. I was learning how to lay hands on myself. I was taking myself through deliverance. I was taking myself through breaking soul ties. I was researching what? I mean, I'm telling y'all something. I knew that I might have made these storms, but I wasn't having to. I'm not going to stay here. I created all these storms and was mad at God when it rained until I gave God permission to begin to heal me. And after that, y'all, I'm telling you, like, he began to teach me who I was. He began to, the greatest thing about hitting rock bottom is that you find out who the rock is at the bottom, and that's Jesus. And that's where a lot of you are today. You're like, God, I'm ready. I'm tired of needing a man to validate me. I'm tired. I'm so tired. of needing people to validate me when you validated me long before I was ever even a thought in my mother's womb. We are in charge of how our stories end. Yes. And listen, guys, as long as you have a pulse, you still have a plan. Like, your life ain't over. You might have drove all those men away. Don't mean you're going to drive the next one away, right? It doesn't mean you're going to drive the next one away. It sure don't. That's why you got to get better. Right, babe? Right, babe?
That's right, babe.
Tell them how good of a wife I am.
Oh, my God. You preach it. You preach it up in here.
That's my honey right there, y'all.
Hey, she's the prettiest girl I've ever seen. She's an amazing wife.
Oh, I love you, babe.
I'm so glad I get to spend the next 40 years of my life together with this precious, beautiful angel.
Yeah, that's the truth.
Man, I'm a blessed man.
Did y'all hear that? He said he is so glad that he gets to spend the next 40 years. That's going to make him 60, 70, 100 years old.
99.
That's going to make him 99 years old. He's watching TV there too, typical man. Actually, he is on his phone. He is pastoring right now. I see him answering his emails. Yeah, your love is so inspiring. I know I love that man. I'm going to tell you something. I never knew how to love. I just didn't. And I love this man so much. And he's my good thing for sure. So number 6 was create separation. Hope can be a terrible thing if it keeps you stuck in the past. It's not easy to end all contact when you feel attached to someone. Breaking off the friendship might feel like ruining your chances at knowing love again. It's helped me to change my hopes to broader terms. So instead of wanting a specific thing in my life now, I tell God, I want your will in my life. And I'm going to tell y'all something. I did not get over my ex until I completely deleted everything. I blocked him. I didn't answer any of his texts. I sent him through my mother and my father to talk about our children. I would not, because he was the type that would send me like 100 texts a day, and my spirit would be so broke down. And so, I had to block mine off of everything. And sometimes that's what you have to do. And, you've got to just take that step of faith and say, God, this thing ain't going nowhere. I'm wasting all my time trying to make this relationship work. And what's going to happen is y'all going to get 50 years old and you're going to be mad at God because you waited for somebody that was not wanting you. You fought for somebody that did you dirty. You were loyal to somebody that did you dirty. And so, how do your sons feel about your ex, their father? Well, Kristen, what was sad was, whenever I kept going back to my ex a lot, and I'll never forget one day I was driving down the road and my son was 7 years old at the time, and it's my oldest, and he said, Mom, he said, if you're staying with Daddy for me and my brother, don't. You deserve better. And, that punched me in the stomach. I still didn't leave right then. I stayed another probably year and a half. And because I was addicted to the to the pain. I was addicted to the drama. If it wasn't broken, I would break it. And so I was just addicted to that. I felt like that's what I deserved. So, now the way we worked it in the healing process is me and my boys talked a lot. And, it wasn't just my husband. It was me too, y'all. Like, it was 2 of us. Like, I'm not just on here acting like he was the bad one and I did nothing. I was just a queen. No, I was as broken as him. We were both broken. We both had big mouths. We both drank. We both partied. I just got up and walked out of my relationship and found God, and he never did. So my kids, I had to hear a lot. Do they maintain a relationship with their father? Kristen, he is an alcoholic, and so they have a texting relationship that is maybe once a month. Maybe they'll get a text from him. They don't really talk on the phone much. And you know what the really sad thing is? I haven't finished it yet, Laura, but I'm on it. I'm reading it. It's a long book, and I'm ADHD, so I like a butterfly. Remember? So thank you so much. Thank you for downloading my free app. Thanks for making Houston traffic better for the drive home. Oh, you're welcome, Melody. We get used to living in dysfunction. We really do. Hey, 0513. Wow, Pastor Kim, this teaching is not just for husbands and wives, but for all relationships. It really is. It really is, Marcia. Look, are you a pickle smoocher? Really, Captain Rehab? What was my thought, Lena? Okay, and the next one was number 8. What was my thought? Yeah, y'all bring me back on. Bring me back on. Bring me back on. What is a pickle smoocher anyway? Hey, Tommy, as you were, and I'm glad there's hope. There's so much hope, girl. And listen, this is not the way your story's going to end. You hear me? This is not the way your story's going to end. It's going to get better. Yes, it is. Number 7 is let yourself feel. Let yourself feel. Losing a relationship can feel like a mini death, complete with a grieving process. First, you are shocked and in denial. You don't believe it's over and you hold out hope. Next, you feel hurt and guilty. You should have done things differently. If you didn't, you wouldn't be in this pain. If I wouldn't allow myself to fall for this person, I wouldn't be hurt right now. Then you feel angry and maybe even start bargaining. It would be different if you gave it a second go. It would be different. They start giving you all these lies. You know what I'm talking about? You don't want to know what a pickle. Yeah, I probably don't. I don't even care anyway. Pickle smoocher. I know I ain't a pickle smoocher. I'm a Mark smoocher. Eventually, you start accepting what happened and shift your focus from the past to your future. You have to go through the feelings as they come. You have to go through the feelings. You know, even with my sons, like the whole time that we were going through this, I did not allow myself to go through this by myself. I allowed myself to go through this with my sons. And every time I was hurt, I would talk to my sons about it. And I would talk to them and I would say, boys, you know, we're going to talk. We got to talk. We got to talk through this. What are you feeling? They would be angry. And I would say, I'm not leaving the room until you talk to me. And my boys were boys, so it was hard for them to talk. You know, boys don't really talk. And I remember telling them, okay, well, if you won't talk, here's your two choices. You're either going to go to counseling with me, or you're going to get an activity that allows you to express your feelings. Because I knew as long as you keep those feelings suppressed, you know, kids blame themselves for the divorce. They blame their dad for being alcoholic. They blame me for leaving. They blame, you know, I didn't know what all they were feeling. And so I knew that they had to get the feelings out. So my son said, okay, fine, get me a guitar. And my other son said, get me a camera. And so they did. And my son learned how to play all these instruments. He learned how to play his guitar. He plays guitar. He plays drums. He plays bass. He plays everything. My book is Beautifully Broken. You can get that on my website, realtalkkim.com. And so we talked about it, and the boys healed with me. So that's what you got to do. You got to walk through your feelings. And guess what? You didn't fall in love overnight, and you're not going to fall out of love overnight. You have to. It is a choice. It is a choice. Your broken marriage developed. My broken marriage developed some incredible boys. I'm telling y'all something. I would not let up on those boys. I would always talk to them. They would tell me how I made them feel. Because y'all, probably the second year, the first year after my marriage, I laid in bed and cried a river every day. Like I was just awful. Like I was just depressed and bleh, and I didn't want to live, and I was just bleh. And so my boys didn't even have a mom for like a year. So they didn't have a dad and they didn't have a mom. And so, you know, I had to walk through this. I had to hear, you know, I to this day, every once in a while, I'll even hear my son say, you know, they'll say something, oh, that makes me remember, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, ugh, you know what I'm talking about? Because you wish you could go back and change it, but you can't. You can't go back and change not being the best mom for those years of grieving. You can't go back and wish you didn't party and, you know, leave them at the babysitter and come home drunk at night. You wish you could go back and change these things, but you can't. But what you can do is allow yourself to do what I did and allow your kids to watch you go from bitter to better. My children watched me get myself up out of bed. What if he plays mind games with child to turn against? Oh, mine did it. Mine still does it. Hearts of pure. Mine still talks nasty and still like my it's been 11 years and my ex's family still will get on social media and talk ugly about me. And I don't do that. Like I don't get on social media and do that. And I have all the right in the world. I got a lot of junk I could tell, boo, but I don't. And so what it's done is it's made my children, I never said anything about their dad or their family. And over the years, my sons now are 20 and 22. Those boys, they know the real deal. They know it. My ex's family have always talked about me. They have always, like, my ex never ever paid child support. And they would go after the sister's exes for all the money in the world they could get, like still taking them to court, trying to get money because they don't want to go get a job. But yet they never one time made their son pay me anything. I could like really hurt them, but I don't, it is what it is. But you can't get bitter, man. You can't even allow that ex. Don't allow yourself to stoop that low. Don't allow yourself to stoop to the level of trying to talk and put them, you don't know. I mean, the worst thing we can do as parents is bring our kids into a fight that they didn't ask to be in. They did not ask for us to be their parents. And they did not ask for that divorce. And the last thing that you need to do is begin to pull them like your ex is pulling them. You can't. You got to give it to God. You got to take it to the throne instead of the phone. My father and his baby mom were the same. My mom never said it. And look, Lena, you tell us about this all the time. Yep, you tell us about this all the time. You tell us that your mom always never did, and you learned. It helped you because of that. How do you get your husband to pray with you? You know what, Jacqueline? You can't beg your husband, and you can't make your husband pray with you. But what you can do is ask him, "Do you mind if I pray for us?" And allow him to hear you praying for y'all. And over time, you let God do the work on the inside of him, and over time, he'll pray for you. Yep. 20, 21, 22, the kids begin to see the true colors. What if we just want them to be saved? Keep praying. Like, the Bible says that you are one flesh. And so when you said, I do, you became one flesh with that person. You can stand in the gap for your spouse, and you can pray for God to bring him to Jesus. And he will. You can't expect it in your timing either. You got to wait on God. I love The War Room. Yes, watch The War Room if you want your husband saved. That's like the greatest movie ever. Me and my husband have been praying together since you said it at Judah. Isn't it amazing, Lady Whip? Amazing. Yes. So listen, y'all. I gave y'all some little tips. We talked a little bit tonight. And I'm going to go spend time with my husband because it is 8 o'clock. And rarely do both people come to Christ at the same time. They don't. But if you keep on being persistent, God is going to totally bring him to you and bring him to know Jesus. And same as your wife, Miss Kim, that you repeat the points. Oh, at the end of the scope. Okay, I sure will. I got more too, y'all. I got more, and we will finish those tomorrow. How to let go of a past relationship. Stop trying to recycle what God is trying to throw away. Stop trying to stabilize what God is trying to set you free from. Number 1 was practice releasing regrets. You got to be intentional with this, y'all. I love you more. I love you more. You got to be intentional. Like, you've got to be intentional about practice releasing regrets. You got to, even if you drove that person off, even if you wish to God, do you block? Yes, I blocked my ex. What? Yes. I blocked my ex. Absolutely. You have to, there's no reason for us to, if we had a nice ex, like if we got along, and I'm not even gonna lie to y'all, we just don't get along. So, if we don't get along, then why am I gonna allow him to pollute my spirit? There's no reason for us to even communicate because my kids are grown. My kids can talk to them now. So there's no reason at all for us to communicate. And, he's still a bitter party of one. And so, yes, block your ex. You're grown. If you get along, no. Yes, man, the gift that we want is for us we want to get along with our exes for our children's sake. That is the gift. That is awesome. If we can be grown-ups and get along be co-parenting, right? You got to learn to co-parent, but you can't co-parent with somebody that is angry and bitter and ugly and blames the whole world for everything in their life going wrong. So I can't make him, but I can delete him and block him, and that's exactly what. In fact, I block everybody that's close to him. How do you walk away when you know it's time to let go? Girl, it is intentional. You get up and you walk away. When you want to call that person, I love you, Chasney, night-night, you be intentional about it. Like, every time you want to pick up that phone and call him, don't. Call a friend that you're accountable to. I'm serious. You got to get up and walk away. If you feel it's time to get up, walk away. I love you too. Should I accept friend request from my child's father girlfriend? No. Should I accept friend request from my child's father girlfriend? Well, unless y'all get along. Jada Pickett gets along great with her with her husband's ex and baby mama. So if y'all get along, absolutely. Like, for the kids' sake. Yes. But if it's going to hurt your heart, no. Yes, I feel like my ex is a terrorist with my emotions, and he is. That's why he's your ex. Mine was too. I blocked his old friends, and I'm telling you, I blocked everybody too. Yep, this blessed me bunches. I love you, boo. I know this is off the subject, but do you preach on spiritual warfare? Absolutely. I believe in spiritual warfare. I sure do. Thoughts on why one attracts same type? Because you're broken. You're broken. You attract what you are and not what you want. I blocked all mutual friends too. If they were no. I did not block all mutual friends. I blocked all his friends that weren't my friends because I didn't want them creeping. You know, and my ex forgets that we've been divorced 11 years. You know, it's like, dude, where you been? Oh yeah, you drunk. Oh, I forgot. We've been divorced for a long time. I keep having nightmares. You should talk about that one day. Nightmares? Really? Well, maybe it's because you're sleeping with infomercial TV stuff on. I love you, Jackie. Maybe you turn off the TV and turn on Bible. You know, turn on the Bible and let the Bible read to you. Bye, love you. Well, they end up being his friend, not mine. So, you know, like body snatchers, they will creep. Yep, they will creep and report. And that's exactly why I went and deleted all of them. I blocked them all. And I'm sure they could start other pages. And, you know, if they want to go through all that hassle, that's fine. But, you know, my Bible says to guard your heart. And that stuff hurts my heart. So I block them. It hurts me to see, you know, it just hurts. First time getting in, and I love, Motivated Village. Thank you so much. Tell your wife I said hello. You are awesomer. Miss Kim, don't forget about me. God's princess, what do I need? What about you, boo? Tell me, what, so I don't forget. You know, my heart means well, but I have so much on me, I do forget, unfortunately. No, tell that wording and stress committee inside your head to, the points. So the points, thank you, boo. Shiny ball syndrome right here. I love you more. Number 1 was practice releasing regrets. Number 2 was, how does he respond now? Sees all your success. Big life look. I don't even know because we don't even talk. William! I don't even talk to him. Dude, I block them. I block them all so I don't even know what they feel. I'm sure he's mad. I'm sure he's going, shoot, 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 shoot. I should have straightened up. That's probably what he's doing, but he would never admit it, you know. So number 1 is practice releasing regrets. Number 2 is work on forgiving yourself. Number 3 is don't think about any time as lost. Number 4, remember the bad as well as the good. Like, allow yourself to be honest and stop acting like all the good was there and there was no bad. When in reality, there was more bad than there was good. Be honest with yourself and stop living in the clouds. Number 5, reconnect with who you are outside of that relationship. Who were you before that toxic relationship took over your mind and made you be pitiful and not powerful? Who were you? Reconnect with who you used to be before that relationship. Dude, what? That person fell in love with you for some reason because you were all that in a bag of chips. But along the way, because y'all were both broken, they broke you down because their main goal in life was to break you down so that you would never leave. Now you believe all that hogwash. All right? All that hogwash. I love you tons, Joel. And so you believe all that hogwash, and now you are thinking I can't make it without him. But you did. That dude fell in love with you. That woman fell in love with you because of all of these amazing things that you were. Now, who is that person? Go back and find that person. Go back. Go back. Go back and find out who you used to be. And stop allowing yourself to be a victim. You are a victor, honey. Number 6, create separation. Create separation. Create separation. Hope can be a terrible thing if it keeps you stuck in the past. Honey, put a block on their Facebook. Block their phone number. Block them, block them, block them. Every time you want to go see who he's dating now, block them. Anytime you want to go see, what his mama's doing now, block them. Any holiday you want to see who went to their house and spent the holidays with them, you want to see the pictures, block them. Stop putting your heart back into the hands of those people that keep breaking it. Block them. Bye, Felicia. Bye, Philip. Number 7, let yourself feel. It did not take you 1 minute to fall in love, and it ain't going to take you a minute to fall out of love. It's going to hurt like hell. It's going to hurt, honey. We are going to be devastated, especially if they cheated on us, and we just don't know why. Why would they cheat on us? We were so good to them. Maybe if they told me what I did, then I would be able to fix it. We could work things out. Baloney. Love you too. You keep it so real and godly love. I am Prophecies. Oh, hello, Pastor Antoine. Good to see you. You know, you are just crying a river. I'm telling you, ridiculous. Ridiculous. Anybody that walked out of your life, your future is not connected to them. Your destiny is not connected to anybody that can get up and walk away from you, honey. No. All right? Number 8, remember the benefits of moving on. Remember, if you don't move on, God can't bring you the right one in your life. Yes, I will put these on. I sure will, Lena. I will put these on my app, Real Talk Kim app. All of these will be on there. I will give you all of the points and all of my little notes that I never seem to be able to get to because I'm running my mouth with y'all. I will put all of these on the app as well. Number 9, recognize and replace fearful thoughts of what if, shoulda, coulda, what. All these fearful thoughts of what is it going to look like? Who am I going to have Thanksgiving with? Who's going to sit beside me? Who's going to go to church with me? Who's going to go to eat dinner with me? Who. Stop looking and making yourself afraid of looking too far out. Listen to me. If that person got up and walked out, if that person cheated on you, I know amazing people, amazing women, gorgeous women. Honey, listen, you are not less of a woman because somebody got up and walked out on you. I don't care how good of a woman you are never good enough for a man that is not ready. All right? Stop allowing yourself. My husband thinks so too. Yes, he does, Jason. My husband thinks so too. I'm getting all kinds of stuff tonight, ain't I? Isn't that funny? He said, you're sexy. I was like, my husband thinks so too. Oh, bow, chicka, wow, wow. Number 10 was embrace impermanence. Embrace that this is just a season. Nothing in life lasts forever. Every experience and relationship eventually runs its course. The best way to embrace impermanence is to translate it into action. Stop laying in your bed, in your house, crying a river. Stop laying there eating your emotions. Stop. Get up, get out, get in some sunlight, and allow yourself to begin to live again. All right? I love you guys so much. What do we say around here, y'all? What do we say? If they don't pray, they can't stay. If they don't pray, they can't stay. If they don't pray, they can't stay. What? Why can't they stay? If they don't pray. If they don't pray, they're probably cray. If they don't pray, they're probably cray. If they don't pray, they're probably cray. I sure do love y'all. I'm going to go spend some time with my hubba. Yes, I am. I'm going to go make some time for my boo. I love y'all. Y'all sleep tonight. Don't cry. Don't cry yourself to sleep. Don't. Get up, pray, worship, turn on some worship music, and go to sleep. I love y'all tons and tons and tons. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye.